Hello, everybody. Welcome to my live. I am Debbie Foster, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas, and I want to thank you for spending a little time with me today. I've got some sweet Stampin' Up! Updates and creative ideas to share. So settle in and let's enjoy this time together. All right, first off, we're going to talk about, let me bring We've got Paper Pumpkin to talk about. But first, I want to tell you that today's date is Thursday, June 25th, 2026. So, all right. For the Paper Pumpkin kit for July is called Hooray for Birthdays. And it says, say happy birthday with stand-up easel cards, perfect for showing off. It makes 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs with 9 coordinating envelopes. It's got holographic foil accents, pre-cut paper pieces, and printed stickers. And the coordinating Stampin' Spot that you're going to get with this is going to be the Timid Tiger Stampin' Spot. And this is a 2-step flower stamp. It lets you build multicolored blooms. So it looks really cute. And it's a stand-up kind of thing. It's an easel card. So that's something a little bit different. All right, and you've got until July 10th to sign up for this Paper Pumpkin kit. And to go along with that, you can add on the add-on dies, which are called detailed flora dies. And the item number on this one is 168664, and the price is $13. You get all those dies, and they'll coordinate with the July, August, and September Paper Pumpkin kits. But you have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber in order to get these. So it's a good chance to sign up for the Paper Pumpkin. It's like a Christmas each month when you receive them, because we never know exactly what's in them. We do get some sneak peeks, but we don't get the whole idea of what all is in them. So it's kind of a surprise each month. All right. And then next, we still got the product of the month going on. We did sell out of the Wild Bunch. That was for June. And we still have the May Paper Pumpkin, or the May product of the month designer series paper, the vellum. It's called Berry Botanical Vellum 12 by 12. That still is available. So with your order of $75, you can add this on to your order if you haven't gotten it already for only $5. So you might want to consider that, or wait until the first few days of July. We'll be having a new product of the month coming out, and we've already gotten a sneak peek of it, but I can't share it with you yet. It is pretty. All right, and let me go back here. And also, we're going to have a new join special coming up in July for anybody that wants to get their starter kit. I won't go into the details until next week on that, so just keep it in mind. All right, let me see my notes, make sure I've gotten everything. Don't forget about the online exclusives. They're in my store, and my store, we're going to get that scrolling across here in a moment. Oops, wrong one. Well, where did I go? Yeah, that's right. All right, shop with me, my store, which is www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. And that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. And if you're watching me on Facebook or on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, I'd like for you to click that like button. And in YouTube, I'd like for you to subscribe to my channel. And please follow me also on Facebook and whatever platforms I might be on. And you can go to my blog to get instructions on all the cards that I'm making. It is creatingcardswithdebbie.thesearemystamps.com. And that'll have all the cards that I've made. There's over 500 in there. So should be able to find something you like. And has dimensions and pictures. All right. So let's remove all these from the screen. And like I said, be sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And share my video on Facebook if you're watching it there. And let me get rid of all this stuff. It's distracting, and we will get on with the program. All right, that should take care of it. Be sure you comment and say hello when you come on. And let me know where you're watching me from. I like to see where everybody is. It's kind of fun where everybody is in this world. All right, so today we're going to be starting out using the lovely, whoops, I need to turn my camera around so you can see what I'm doing. That might help. Hold on a second. All right, and let me know that you can hear me and you can see my screen okay. So we're using the Lovely Arrangements bundle. That's the stamps and the dies. So we're going to just put those aside for now, and we'll bring out our card and all of our things here. I rearranged my table here, so let me see how I can do this. It might have been a mistake. I don't know. I've got my camera sitting on the side here where I usually put my supplies at, so I might have to go back to the old way. Okay, so here is our card. It says, "Hello, friend." And then it opens from the top side. It says, "Always here for you." All right, so let me get my instructions over here. We're going to start out with our card base, which is our basic black. And which measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And I'm kind of sideways. Let me see if I can adjust my camera a little bit here. It doesn't look right to me. It seems like we're sitting at an angle or something. All right. We'll just continue here. Okay. 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. Scored in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. We're going to take our bone folder and we're going to burnish that. And we're going to go portrait style. And then next, we're going to be using Designer Series paper, which is the Artisan Sketched Garden. I'm just going to take out my cheater sheet here instead of the whole pack of paper. It's probably easier to see. So this is my little chart that I make up for each paper pack that I get. And we're going to be using the stripes and the dots right here. And my stripes are going to go this direction. And that's item number 167752. This is pretty paper. You can color the backside if you wanted to. We've got black and white. So here's our Designer Series paper, which is 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And that's going to sit on the front of our card, but I have another piece that's going to go on there first. And just making sure I've got the right one. Our next one is, well, I've got 2 of them here. Okay, I had the wrong one. This one is 1 1/4 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And that's going to go onto our side here of our striped paper. And I'm going to butt it right up to the edge. So I'm going to grab my adhesive. And I think I'm going to grab my silicone mat to make sure I don't make a sticky mess on my work surface. I feel like I'm forgetting something today. I don't know. Maybe it'll come to mind here in a little bit. All right, this is going to go right on that left side edge. And I'm going to butt it right up against those 3 sides, the bottom and the top, and then the left side. And we'll press that down. Get rid of our silicone mat here. And now we can attach that to our card fronts. I've got a brand new bottle of glue here, so I shouldn't have any issues with that today. So that's a plus. I don't have to shake and beat on it or nothing. I want to make sure my dotted DSP goes on that left side. And we're going to have a small edge going around it. So black and white is I think, an elegant combination. All right, and then next we're going to do some stamping. I've got some scraps of basic white here, and using that stamp with all the flowers, the lovely arrangements. And we're just going to do our flowers first. And I've got my black Memento ink pad. And we're going to do the leaf with our peaceful pine. So that's going to be last here. So I need 3 of the larger flowers. Oops. Let's drop that in my ink pad. Okay, 3 of the large and 2 of the smaller flowers. And close up that black pad. I'm going to bring my peaceful pine stamp pad over here, and we're going to stamp 3 of the leaves. And I think I'll grab this scrap here. And we're going to stamp 3. And 1 more. All right, so we've got 3 large flowers and 2 smaller flowers. And I'm going to grab our shimmer. Let's see, this is the Golden Glow shimmer brush. These are new. And we're going to make sure we shake that up really good to get it mixed up, that glitter inside of it. And we're going to just outline our flowers a little bit, give them a little shading. Yeah, just making sure you can see me here. I'm just going to go on the lines that the stamp has made, the image. I'm not doing the outside of the flower, just the centers. I'm not going to do all of these because I've already got some done ahead of time. I'm just showing you how I did it. And give a little bit in the center. And same with the small flowers. Like I said, I'm here in Arkansas, and our weather has turned summery. We're supposed to have a lot of heat this next week here, so I guess summer is upon us. All right, so you can see a little bit of the shimmer. All right, and then I have already die cut these out already to save a little bit of time. 2 of the small ones and 3 of the larger ones and 3 of the leaves. So we'll save those for another card. And I have die cut our label. And let me show you where I got that from. It is this one right here. And okay, this is what it looks like. Oh, and I also die cut using the dies that come with this. This is one for the large flower. This one's for the smaller flower. And the leaves. So Those are all the dies that we used out of this pack. There's still more in there. There's quite an assortment of different ones. Let me get this put back together and I'll show you all the other ones. So we've got this one here that we didn't use, and a smaller label here, and then this one, and then the small leaves. You get quite a few dies with that. All right, and we're going to stamp our sentiment, which is hello friend. Oops, wrong one. And I'm going to stamp that off to the right side of our label. And bring my black memento back over here. My lighting doesn't look good either. Does that help any? Maybe a little bit. All right, and we've got that inked up, and we're going to stamp it off to the right side. Close that up. And we're going to start assembling our card here. So we're going to set that aside for a moment, and we're going to start with our flowers and start arranging them. Our three large ones are going to be stuck down. They're not going to be popped up at all with dimensionals. I'm going to put our other little flowers up on dimensionals. And I'm going to move mine over a little bit compared to what I had it before. Let me do a dry fit here. Yeah, that works. I want to leave enough room to put my leaves in there. We're just doing a dry fit for now. And maybe another right there. And these are going to sit here up on dimensionals. All right, so I'm going to lift them a little bit and attach. I'm just going to put a little glue in the centers of the flowers. I don't need it saturated. And I think we'll do the flowers first, and then we'll come back and do the leaves. And a rather large flower. All right, now we're going to attach our leaves. Am I still in the camera view? I might be out of the camera a little bit. Let me scooch over here. Hope everybody's doing well today and you're able to get some crafting time in there for yourself today. Whether it's card making or scrapbooking or any other paper product that you may be working with. I know we've got 3D projects that some work on in different lines. All right, I'm going to bring over my Stampin' Dimensionals. And I take your pick tool. And we're going to just take one of those off. And I think I'm just going to put one dimensional at the top area. And then I'm going to just glue the bottom edge down. So it's going to kind of give it a curl. So let's go ahead and do that with this first one. Just put a little adhesive at the bottom. And we'll hold that a second there so it attaches. It kind of gives you a little different dimension of it. Instead of just straight up, it's kind of curled. And our dimensional. And I'm going to put these at an angle of each other. That was a little bit more straighter. Let me tilt that a little bit. And then our sentiment is going to slip up underneath our flowers. Well, I'm kind of hiding it a little bit. Let me see where we'll fit better here. Well, goodness. I'm going to lift this one back up a little bit. Well, it doesn't quite fit on there. All right, let's snip this edge off. I did that at a little bit angle. And we're going to just fit that right about there. And you want to make sure you're not sticking past your card on the right side. And then we have got our black baker's twine that comes in a 5-pack. We've got crumb cake, white, black, gray granite, and berry vanilla are all in this pack. And I'm using the black, and let me straighten out one bow right here. It got messed up in the package. All right. So that's going to go up underneath our sentiment, and I'm going to be using a mini glue dot. And these are my mini glue dots that come in my paper pumpkin kits. They're a little bit smaller than our normal mini glue dots. I like to use those for real skinny twine and such. I'll kind of put that in a log shape, and then I'm going to attach that center of our bow right underneath our sentiment. So there's our card front. Hello, friend. And let's do the inside. We've got basic white, which measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And another strip of that designer series paper, which measures 1 inch by 5 1/4 inches. And did I put that on the side? I did. I'm going to put that on the right side. But I'm going to stamp my sentiment first, which says always here for you. And stamp pad. And we're going to stamp that off to the left side. Close up that stamp pad so we don't have any accidents occur. All right, now we'll take that strip of designer series paper and we're going to attach that to that right side. Throwing things around here. I'm going to leave a small edge on that right side. And we'll put that inside of our card. Centering it on the inside. All right. Hello, friend. Always here for you. Okay, so that's our first card. And let me straighten up a little bit here. All right, and our second card is going to be a fun fold. And I'll get my supplies out here. Get some pieces. All right, it's going to be a fun fold. Thank you card. Let me get my instructions off of there. So it says thank you. And then it opens, and so very much. So this is going to be using our Designer Series paper, which is the beautiful Gallery 6x6. And you get 48 sheets with this, and this is still available. I'm not going to show you all the sheets to it, but there's a multitude of different designs. And we're going to be using this design right here. And it's got this on the back side. All right, so our card base is going to measure 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and then it's scored at 4 1/4 inches. And we're going to cut off 1 1/4 inch off of that front flap. So I'm going to bring my paper trimmer back over here, and we'll do that. And the front flap, it needs to be 1 1/4. So I'm trying to turn it around and get that lined up with the 1 1/4. Okay, you can save this scrap for something else later. Paper trimmer back. So it's going to have a short front flap. And then next we've got all right. Well, I'm going to emboss that front flap. I'm using the Stone and Vine 3D embossing folder, but I'm going to have to go off camera here to go emboss that on my large machine. I didn't bring it over here. And we're just going to butt that right up against the edge, line that up, and you can just fold that back on its folder to do that. So I'm going to get up and go do that. I'll be right back. Should have done this ahead of time. I'm shaking the table a little bit. All right, I'm back. So, like I said, I folded it back on itself. And this is what it looks like. I'm going to burnish that fold line again because I kind of got it out of whack a little bit. So I'm going to rescore that. All right. Opens like that. And then next we're going to add our mat. This is our Mossy Meadow, and it measures 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. And then our Designer Series paper measures 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/2 inches, and that's going to sit right on top of that Mossy Meadow cardstock. let's go ahead and attach that. And we're going to leave a border going all around it. And this is going to sit on top of that embossed flap. But I'm not going to glue it all completely down. I'm going to just put glue on the flap part, not on the inside part. Otherwise it's going to stick shut. So I'm going to kind of center it and place my finger on there where I don't want to go past. So probably right about in there. So I'm just going to do glue on this area. And then we're going to place that down. So center it. And press, press, press. I'm giving it a little time because we've got that raised area where it's embossed. I want to make sure that it attaches to it good. All right, so it's going to open like this. And then next I've got from our party banner dies, I have cut using this die right here. And cut that out of our Mossy Meadow. And that's going to be our little banner on the side. So I'm going to stamp okay, I've got 2 layers. I cut out 2. Let me grab the other one. So a larger one and a smaller. Get a hold of them. This is the larger one for the Mossy Meadow. And the smaller one is cutting out our designer series paper, which is the back side of this paper. So I've got Mossy Meadow and the designer series paper. And I'm going to stamp our sentiment thank you on this one. But our stamp goes crosswise. Thank you. So I'm going to tape off one word at a time the stamp. So I'm going to grab some washi tape over here. And we're just going to say, we're going to tape it over the U. And I'm using our black Memento ink again. So ink up thank. And when you're done inking it up, you want to make sure you pull that tape off. And we're going to stamp thank with the upper portion off to the right side. Thank. And grab our Simply Chamois to clean that off. And we're going to pat that dry a little bit. And we'll do the same with on the U. We'll block off the thank. So U is getting inked up. Pull the tape off. And stamp U. we've got thank you. And I just stuck my fingers in their ink pad. Nice black ink underneath my fingernail. That looks really good. Let's see if I can clean that off at all. Me over here, maybe I can use that to clean my fingernail. Nope, I think it went up underneath. That looks lovely. Okay, and we'll put that aside, and we're going to attach these two together. Looks like I'll have to soak my fingernail for a while to get that ink out of there. And we're just attaching this centered onto that mossy meadow banner. And we're going to place this up on dimensionals. But first, we've got a bow that we've made already using the mossy meadow and gold trim. And this is in the last chance section of my store. It was $9.50. It's been marked down to $8.55. So it's very pretty. It's a lot of glittery stuff in there on both sides. And I'm just going to attach this to the back sides. So I'm going to bring my silicone mat back over here. And I'm going to use some tear and tape, which I don't have out here. So let's go ahead and use our Seal Plus, our Stampin' Seal Plus. We'll put a strip of that along the back side. And we're going to position this where we want it on the front. And we're going to tuck those longer tails behind, like so. And I can cut off all that excess. And my scissors. Right. And switch that over just a bit. And then I'm going to place dimensionals on the back side of that. And I think I put 4. And I can probably put 1 in the center of that ribbon also to hold it up a little bit. We don't need it sinking. So let's grab 2. It's probably an overkill here, but we want to make sure it's not sinking in the middle or whatever. All right, and this is going to go onto our card front. I'm going to put it off to the side at the bottom. So we're just putting it right over the designer series paper and leaving that mossy metal border a little bit. So here's our finished front of our card. Thank you. And now we got to work on the inside. And the inside, I am going to stamp it directly onto the card base. And what did I put on the inside? Just the sentiment, I guess. And it is going to say, so very much. And is it that one? No. Oh, it was hiding here. I got it. Bring our Wicked black ink back over here. This is our black Memento ink I put into my craft pad. So the front side says thank you, and the inside is going to say so very much. I'm going to put it in the upper left-hand corner. All right, our second finished card. Thank you so very much. All right, and then next is going to be a sneak peek of a July online exclusive that's coming out in July. And it is called the Frame Violets. And I'm using pretty much the suite that goes along with that. So I'll explain as we go what I'm using. So Frame Violets, it's got I appreciate you, sending love, take care, happy birthday to you, and then this pretty frame and these pretty flowers in the stem. And then for the dies, we've got 2 oval frames. And this cuts out the larger flower. And we've got some extra leaves here that are die cuts and some extra little flowers. And then this flower die cuts out this die, the stamped image. So that's what we've got going on for today. And I'm also using the dies that go along with the Fern and Flora die. I'm using these 2. All right, so let me bring that out here and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so here's our card, sending love. Isn't that pretty? And then on the inside, I appreciate you. All right, so we've got the designer series paper that goes along with this is this one here. It's called Violet Dreams. Let me go ahead and show you the papers that are in there. We've got time. Yeah. I'm going to show you all these pretties. So, let me just get them all out here first. If you like purple, you're going to love this pack. A lot of purple going on, or violet, or whatever color you want to call it. And I think I got that one. Yeah, I did that one. And then we've got some frameworks here. Now, pull those out without losing anything. It comes with a sheet, well, 2 sheets of these. I've got some frames and some flowers that you can punch out. And I'm going to show you both sides if I can here in the camera. They're very pretty. That's the back side. Those are the patterns we're using today. Well, this side we're using. And this one. It's so very pretty. I think that's a secret C for the background. Makes those stand out really pretty. Back side. Back side. I almost used this pattern too. And changed my mind. Using this side. And then also, we got these are the 2026 to 2028 in color gingham gallery. And you get 10 sheets of these. And I'm using the Peaceful Pine one today. It's got the smaller squares on the back side. These are all in the new in colors. I won't show all of them. And then also we've got, this is called the Shimmering Stripes 12 by 12 Specialty Designer Series paper. And we're using this also. And that's in that sweet collection. The gingham isn't, but everything else is. I'm going to open it here and get a hold of it. Right. I don't know if you can see the shimmering. Sort of, yeah. You can see a little bit of glitzy there. And these are 12 by 12 sheets. And you get 4 then. 4 12 by 12s. And it's just plain on the back side. All right. So let's bring our items over here and we'll get started. I'm going to start out with our card base, which is our gorgeous grape. And I'm going the same I'm going the 5.5 by 8.5 orientation, scored in the middle at 4 1/4 inches. So we're going to burnish that fold line. And set that aside for a moment. And then next we have our designer series paper. Oh, next we have our Peaceful Pine. This is our mat. And it's going to be 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And that's going to sit on the front of our card. And then we've got our designer series paper, which measures 2 5/8 by 4 inches. And they're both the same size. And our flowers are going to go at the top. And then our gingham is going to go at the bottom. So let's go ahead and attach those. We'll start with the flowered paper first. I'm going to have to order another pack of these. This paper, I love it. They say if you hoard paper that to order 2 packs, then you're more apt to use it. So I think that's true. I guess our mind plays mind games with us and thinks that we can't use it because we might need it for something a little more special. If we only have 1 pack. Okay, I don't have any stories to tell. I've had pretty much a no drama week, which I like. Boring is good sometimes. And I still do need some tear and tape. Do I need to get up and get it? I do. Let me grab my tear and tape. I used the last of it yesterday. I need a new roll. There. Okay, brand new roll. And my silicone mat over here to attach that. As you can see, I put those together and I'm going to run a seam of tear and tape across the center. I'm going to add my ribbon there. So let me go ahead and attach that. And I'm keeping it right at the line of the gingham. Tear that off. And flip that around the back side. And then I I've got the ribbon, which is with that suite of products. It's called Fresh Freesia satin ribbon. And I'm not really measuring. I'm just going to take an eyeball it enough to go across that center and then back to the back a little bit. So I'm going to snip that off. And we're going to set that aside. We're going to be using that again here in a moment. And go lift those paper backings off. And our ribbon is going to lay across that seam. And push that back around. All right, now we can go ahead and attach that to our card. Our card back over here. Make sure we've got the front flap and not the back. And everything's the right side, going the right directions. And we're just going to have just a small edge going around that. All right, so it's going to look like so. All right, and then we're going to do some stamping and some coloring. And we're using the large flower. We're going to stamp 2 of those using our black Memento ink. The one I stuck my finger in. Tap, tap, tap. And we need 2 of these. Whoops, that didn't stamp very good. I'm going to grab my Pearson mat here, and I'm going to stamp that again. It's inked up good, plenty. Sometimes with the photopolymer stamps, we need a little bit more cushion underneath. So I guess this is one of those stamp sets that's needing to use that. Much better. It solved the problem. And one more. And I'm just going to give that a moment to soak in there really good. And we'll close that up. I need to clean my stamp pad. I'm getting black ink all over myself. All right, so we're going to let that dry for a moment. And we're going to bring over our Stampin' Blends. I'm going to use Fresh Freesia and Peaceful Pine. And I'm going to do some coloring. I'm going to start out with our light Fresh Freesia. And color the petals of our flowers. Make sure you're on camera view here. Looking good. So do y'all have any plans for the 4th of July, which is coming up here real soon? Hard to believe that we're coming up on July already. We don't really have any plans yet, unless that changes the farther we get closer to it. I'm sure our grandson or our son-in-law will be doing fireworks here in the yard that night, so we may just stay and watch those. Nothing special going on as of yet. That could change. All right, and then I'm going to grab the dark Fresh Freesia. And we're going to give a little shading, just the inside of the petals. All right, and then next we've got our Peaceful Pine. I'm going to use the light first. I know these stems are really skinny, so I'm trying to stay within the lines. And I'm going to go along the outside edges of the leaves with the bullet end, and then I'm going to use the brush end to color it in. It's a little bit faster. I'm using the bullet end to make sure I stay on the lines. All right, and come back in with our brush end. That colors a little bit faster. And then I'm going to come with my dark Peaceful Pine and do some shading. And I'm just going to do the veins of the leaves with the dark Peaceful Pine. All right, and I'm going to add a little bit more shading to this one side of this leaf with the dark. And I forgot spot up here. There we go. And I'm going to come back with our dark brush freesia into the center of those flowers. All right. And I've already colored one already, so I'm just going to die cut those out. Bring our machine over here. And we'll grab our dies, match those. And I need some washi tape here. I might have enough here. Put that down to hold that in place. And we're going to run that through our machine. And we've got Miss Squeaky here. She's still doing her thing. Okay, so I've got the one flower. And we're going to grab this flower. Let me cut that down to size. Where did I put my scissors? And again, run our die through this. that lined up right. I don't want to do this over again. All right, we've got our 2 flowers die cut and colored, or colored and die cut. And then next we've got we're going to stamp our frame, and I'm going to be using the Fresh Freesia for that stamp pad. And I'm hoping this is big enough. Nope, it's not big enough. Let me see, do I have another piece of white? I think I stamped on the wrong piece that I needed. All right, and I'm going to use my pad again to make sure it stamps good. And I have a large stamp here, so I'm going to have it facing upward and bring my ink pad to it so I can see that I got good coverage. And just to make sure, I could have used my stamp positioner to do this with, and I could have came back in if I needed to, but of course I didn't. All right, we're going to press that down, give it a lot of pressure, let it sit there and soak in a little bit. There we go. Looks pretty good. Close up that stamp pad. And then I'm going to die cut that. And I'm thinking it'll fit through my machine, I hope. Yeah, if I cut that down, I can. I was going to say, otherwise I'd have to get up and use the big machine. But this will work. And die cut that. This one here, the outside edge. You can cut out the center too, but we're going to cover that up anyway, so we're not going to worry about it. All right, snip this down a little bit more. And place our die on top of there. And you do have a certain way that the die goes. There's a right side and a wrong side. So you kind of got to play with it a little bit. And see how it goes. And that looks good. And did I not take the tape off of that? To stick there. And the top plate. And well, I need 2 pieces of tape here, so let me grab another chunk of tape off my washi tape. I don't want it moving on me. So let's push that just a tiny bit. All right, now we've got it covered. Run that through. Okay. And I have die cut that specialty paper out using this die. And that's going to go in the center of our oval, like so. And bring our glue back over here. Place that down the center of that. Getting it centered. All right, that's going to go in the center of our card, but I'm going to put dimensionals on the back side of that. And what did I do with them? I'll take your pick tool and I'm not going to skimp on the dimensionals on the back. So make sure we've got enough to keep it from sinking. And put another one right there. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this product. They're really pretty. And we're going to center that on the front of our card. And I think that's good right there. And then we're going to add our greenery. I've already die cut these out of our Peaceful Pine. And I'm going to lay those down on the center of that specialty paper. So I'm going to bring my silicone mat over here and add a little bit of glue to the back sides. And not a lot. Just a dot, not a lot. And then I'm going to use my reverse tweezers to pick those up with so I don't get my fingers in the glue. And this one's going to go right about there. And the smaller one's going to go to the right side of it. And I think I'm going to place him right about there. And then our flowers are going to go on top. So, put one there. Oops. Get the center out of that flower. And the other one kind of at an angle. Raise them up a little bit. Glue. Let's hold that down a second. Let it attach. And we'll do the same with the second group of flowers. I want to kind of angle these so that all the flowers are kind of showing at the same time. Oops. I think I could bring this one down just a bit. it right about there. Okay, but we're not done yet. We're going to bring in a piece of our fresh freesia, and we're going to stamp our sentiment, which says sending love, and our black memento ink pad. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you see me now? Yeah, I changed my camera setting. I think I'm going to go back to the original way. Sending love. All right. Sending love. And then we're going to just fussy cut this one out. Get that out of the way. Oh, that didn't stamp very well. Let me stamp that again. For some reason with this stamp set, I need to use my cushion, my piercing mats. So let me try that again. Sending love. That's better. And then I'm going to fussy cut this out. And I'm leaving a small fresh freesia edge all along our lettering. And that's going to go at the bottom of our flowers here. But I'm going to add some of that ribbon to it first. And I'm just going to make a little, like a loop here. And maybe a little longer. So I'm going to cut that and then I'll measure it and give you an exact amount that I'm using. It is about 4 1/4 inches. Okay, great. I'm glad you can see me now. Yeah, sometimes I don't look up as often as I should to see the comments. All right, and this is going to sit sort of like this. So I'm going to place some glue dots on that to hold it in place. So where did they go? Let's grab our box of mini glue dots here. Got a few left down here. And I'm going to grab one and place in the center of that ribbon to hold it so it doesn't shift on me. And fold that back over. So that glue dot can hold it in place. And then I'm going to add another one to the back side of that to hold it to my card. And we're going to put it at an angle. And we have our sentiment. And I'm not putting this up on dimensionals. I'm going to glue it directly down to the ribbon. And to that lower edge. So right about like that. Looks good. Make sure it's straight. And hold that there a moment. D Humble, where are you watching me from? And next we've got rhinestones, the basic rhinestones. We're going to add those with some bling on the front of our card. Now I've got just a few here I'm going to use. They're the small ones. And I'm going to add them to the centers of my flowers, just to bling it up a little bit. Got to have that bling going on. And that one. And I think I can snip another one underneath this petal. Oops, it fell on me. Let me grab that again. Lift that petal up, put it underneath. It's just barely showing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I always do things in odd numbers. But I'm going to break my rule today, and I'm only going to do 4 of the embellishments. It gives a little bling there. So that's the front side of our card. Let's work on the inside. I've got a basic white, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to stamp that smaller flower at the bottom. And I'm going to use my black Memento ink pad. And I'm going to bring that mat back over here. This is our piercing mat. And I'm going to stamp the flower at the bottom corner, bottom right-hand corner. And while I'm at it, I'm going to stamp that sentiment. It says, "I appreciate you." Oh, I smudged. Look what I did. Let me turn that over. I've got ink on my finger somewhere. I've got to clean my stamp pad. I'm getting ink all over the place. All right, "I appreciate you." Upper left-hand corner. I hope you didn't hear that. My stomach's growling. I guess it's close to lunchtime here. And give me that flower again. Try not to touch anything that I shouldn't be here. Let that dry a moment. Make sure my fingers are clean. And then I'm going to grab my blending brushes again. And okay, we're using the Fresh Freesia and the Peaceful Pine again. So I'm going to start with a light Fresh Freesia. Color that flower. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. New Jersey. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm here in Arkansas. Is your weather turning hot? Ours is. I think we're in for a heat wave next week. But we're not alone. I've been seeing other states and other countries that are going through the same thing. So it's just that time of the year, I guess. And I'm just doing the outside edges. And then I'm going to come back in with my brush end. I'm using the bullet end right now. And I'll do the brush end, get the centers. It's a little bit faster. I guess I was concentrating too much. I wasn't paying attention. I apologize. All right, and then we've got our flower petals colored. And I'm going to come back in with the dark Fresh Freesia, and we're going to give that some shading. I'm just doing the centers. And then next we've got our Peaceful Pine, dark and light. I'm going to start with the light. Oh, I'm sorry that it kicked you out. Hope it wasn't my side. The internet has been kind of testy with us lately. And last week I got hit by lightning. We had a thunderstorm going on, and it got my Wi-Fi, my internet. So we had to get a new modem, and the guy had to come out and get that all hooked up for us. So crazy. You never know. All right, and we're doing the brush end with the light to color that in. And then I'm going to come back with my dark Peaceful Pine. We're going to do some shading. That stem there. And we'll do the veins of the leaf with the dark. All right. Okay, now we're going to attach that to the inside of our card. Get everything out of the way here. And make sure I've got it going the right direction. I have put them upside down before. And there's our inside. Okay, so there's the front of our card. Sending love. Get the sparkle from the rhinestones there. And the inside is I appreciate you. So let me bring all the cards back over here. And if you missed the beginning, I hope you'll go back and watch the replay to catch what you might have missed. These are our 3 cards for today. And I want to thank you for shopping with me and for being here today. And I hope you'll be able to come back next week and catch me, which will be July. It looks like July 2nd, I think. Get my calendar so I make sure. Yes, July 2nd. Same time, same channels. So I hope you'll have a good rest of your week and you're able to get some crafting time in there for yourselves. Okay, so you're having a little bit cooler. We had a couple cooler days. We had some rain yesterday, so that helped a little bit. Today it's supposed to be back up to, I think, 89, but we've got the humidity going on, so that makes it feel worse than what it really is. All right. So I hope you enjoyed these today. And like I said, thank you for being here. Thank you for your orders. If you have any questions, reach out to me. And if you want the dimensions and instructions for the cards, go to my blog, which is creatingcardswithdebbie.thesearemystamps.com. And the description is in the, or the link is in the description of the video also. So if you didn't catch what I said. All right. So until next week, y'all have a good rest of your week. And again, thank you. Bye.